Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, what have you, wherever you may be in the diaspora. This is your Omiyinka7 live coming at you with Omiyinka7 Zannu's Circle of Wealth. Get wealth is our topic for this evening. And we hope you are geared up because we said we were going to gear you right to our new website, and that is the Mon2Enterprises.biz website, and that's www, https dot www mon MUNTU enterprise ENTERPRISES. Okay, and that's .biz. And you can go to that website. We have our all new website where you can be a basic member, which is free, or you can actually become a member of our VIP, which gives you the access to our community store, and that is between $2 and $9 if you're interested. Now, our store is not up and running, so we urge everyone to just do a basic right now. It is under construction for loading up all of the actual products that we have to sell to you. And one of the products you will notice is that we have our own gear wear, and that's the God's gear, the small one with the big head full of wisdom. Now, I want you to understand this circle is not open to everyone, and you cannot go around the whole campus. You're only designated to go to certain areas based on your membership. And right now, because we have the basic, no one is going over to the store area. It's under construction. So we're inviting everyone in under the free mode of the basic line of membership. There are shows that you can download free of charge. I'm going to be having my poetry uploaded as well, and hopefully the full CD and the book that you can purchase for a small fee. And I want you to know that we were recruiting initially Babalaws, Inyanafis, Apetibis, priests and priestess, because we were in the process of setting up our all new featured directory. And because we have a directory, we are a registry for those particular people and practitioners, because there are just so few of those practitioners out there that people don't know how to find them. We decide to gather them together up under Oracle Divination Network and allow them to have a registers. Of course, they will have to pay for that directory because they're getting jobs off that directory and people will be referring to it. So all of you Inyanafis, Apetibis, priests and priestess, you spiritualists, aspiring spiritualist people, we would say that if you're not a Christian, don't go on the fact that you're an atheist. Become a spiritualist, because you don't have to be of any faith to be a spiritualist. These are non-denomination. We do advocate for the Black Buddhists, and we do know that Buddhism is not a religion, it's a way of life. Ifa is also a way of life. So we are hinging on the spiritual behavior. And you cannot come in here acting any kind of way. You have to be governed by a set of spiritualist laws, regulation. Because we have the tendency to believe that Black folks can just wild out with no standard lifted up. And it has to be a standard lifted up. You don't have to necessarily be a Christian to have standards, but you just have to be a prudent human being who is attempting to live their life in a godly manner. We do believe in God and gods, and even though we are monotheistic person, we have our orishas that represent the deity and the expression of God. Now, we are spiritualists and people, we make no apologies for that. And that does not mean that spiritualists cannot get wealth. We're talking about getting wealth and getting it fast, people, because they recommend by the year of 2053 that the average household of an African American will have its worth value in 0%. 0% in the black man's value in their home. That means that nothing you have has value to it. We got to change that. We got to make a new referendum and change that. Now, we have been sitting around here with these politicians and these clergy men in the churches who have not done what they're supposed to do. The churches keep giving you a bill of goods and giving you an invoice for things that they're not doing. Okay, it's time that you go to your parishioners and say, look, I cannot receive any more invoices of things that I am not getting. I cannot, because the churches could do a lot better. These 501(c)(3)s are standing in their way, and they don't want to lose that. So they rather lose you as a member than lose that 501(c)(3). Now, remember when I was talking to you about streams of income, and I talked to you about the fact that you just can't have only a 9 to 5. You got to look at incorporating yourself and incorporating a company of some sort that you would like to work for, because they will be issuing you a check and you will be up under their auspices. Now, we're talking about getting wealth. When a person gets wealth, the first place they go is to the church to talk about how much wealth they got. Do you know that those people will size you up and figure out what your 10% should be per week? And if you're not giving it, guess what? They will go in your bank book, your check that you submit. They will alter numbers behind that if they feel you should be giving more than the percentage you're giving. And I want to say for the record, we have gotten poor because of churches. We have not advanced ourselves. No matter how many workshops and seminars they put on, a lot of people say, oh, I get so much from my church, and I'm so blessed because my church, I'm saved, sanctified, blessed, and filled with the Holy Ghost because of my church. Okay, now, if you needed to go to your church and get a loan to start that lotion business or that candle business, were they there for you to extend you a loan, knowing that you're going to prosper yourself in the community and it will pour over in the church? No, because they're not in business for that. They're in business to take money from you to help them have streams of income. Now, I don't want to get on the churches today there, because that's not why I'm here, but I want to point that out. So many of us get caught up in the church thinking that because the minister's driving a Jaguar and his wife is driving a BMW, that they're going to be a part of that fivefold ministry group and they're going to be swerving around in their brand new foreign car. Not necessarily so. Now, that fivefold ministry they may have it like that. They can probably get a loan and get some help, because see, they have to represent. And that fivefold ministry, they keep you out. No matter what you say and how you feel like you're moving up the spiritual ladder, they keep you out, because there's some secrets there that you can't even talk about when you're in the fivefold ministry. Now, I'm a little bit through with them and talking about them. I made my exit out. I gave my letter of intent, and I made my detour out. And a lot of us are staying there, and we're at the last draw, and we all are looking at, what am I benefiting from this? Now, anything you put your money into, you have to say, what am I benefiting? As I talked to you last time about a free MLM, one that you didn't even have to pay a premium or a monthly fee for, one that you could go and join just by virtue of going to the site and signing yourself up. Most companies want $150 to $45 to $49 to even submit your membership. This company that I talked to you about did not ask for any money to sign up with them, and they gave you 2 back offices. That is a place to start. Just because you have that website, if someone should come on there and see the product and want to purchase it, then you got people that are purchasing the product that you didn't even push, and they are making leadway and possibly want to become a member. So what do you have to lose? You're not losing anything. If that is one that you can feasibly see yourself utilizing the product, then you can go and sign up for free. And you might be very fortunate enough to gain quite a bit of funds behind that. Now, I want to talk to you today about whole life insurance. So many of you had your policies, you had your universal policies, and nobody ever told you about a whole life policy, one that had a rider on it. They were always talking about, well, the whole life policy is guaranteed for life. And no matter how old you get, they won't go up on your premiums, and you will always have that policy. Yes, you might in the universal life, but it wasn't structured under a structured plan where you could put a rider on it. And that rider would mean that a portion of that policy is for the death policy for your insurance, and the other portion is for you to invest. And that's at 11% interest. Where can you go and what bank can you get 11% interest from? Now, you must remember when you're putting that money in every month, be it $50 to $200, that you are also investing in that particular entity. And now you're an investor with them. So when they pay out at the end, when the annuity pays out, you get your share of the annuity as well, plus the savings that you've been putting in every month. Now, that's what you call a whole life with a rider on it. Most people will fool you and say, oh, yeah, I know all about it. I can write your policy. And then when you call them up, they'll say, well, what do you mean 11% interest? Nobody's giving 11% interest. But it's not that the policy is giving you 11% interest. It is the agency who you're investing in who has an annuity where when you put that money in that bank, they are allowing you to invest. And at the end of the year, everybody makes a profit of the money that they put in. So that's one of the things you can ask your insurance man about. Can they write you a whole life policy with the rider on it? It must have a rider on it. Now, I'm not going to go into too many details about that because I'm pretty vague on that, and I'm waiting to get everything all set up. I did mention MTL Harris, and that he was an insurance man, and you might want to check with him and see what he can tell you. I have one of his employees investigating on that whole life rider right now. Now, because we are in the market of buying and shopping. Yes, we are buying and shopping. We should have our own online malls, and we should buy from ourselves. We should get to the point where every product that we're buying, we're going to get a profit from it, from our toilet tissue to our toiletries to our basic cosmetics and those things we need on a daily basis. We should be buying from ourselves. There are a number of different multi-level companies out there saying, hey, look, don't go buy those rolls of tissue from that Walmart. Come and buy it from our online store, and you get double the rolls at half the price. Now, do you see where I'm going with this? You're saving money on buying products that you know you're going to need. Now, there was a company that came online and on the internet that talked about when you make your investments, you can actually also have access to their discounted wholesale items. So we're looking at how we can tighten up our spending in our home first and see if we can make a profit off everything we buy. Now, no one tells us that we need to invest in these little multi-level businesses that can do that for us, because that would help us out a lot. That would give us a budget for our wholesale goods. And so when we get ready to invest in the multi-level marketing, we can buy from ourselves and get it at wholesale price. Now, some of you are depending on your pension. You're saying, look, I'm vested now. I have 5 years and I'm going to be depending on my pension, and I will live off my pension and I will do fine. Now, a lot of you don't ever bother to go back on who your beneficiary was and whether or not you had a second person. And you don't even go back to look at who you signed off on for your beneficiary. Go back to your company and ask them to let you take a look at who you signed up for your primary and your secondary beneficiary. And also make sure that whenever they have an in-house open enrollment for your long-term disability and short-term, and even if you had uh, uh, a nursing home policy where you can get cheap while you're young, it might even be worth it to invest. Get everything you can out of your benefits, because your benefits are going to about 30% is going to be taken out of your check for benefits. And if you don't use them, they're just left on the table. And a lot of people say, well, I'm paying 30% for all those benefits, but you have to go back and make sure you utilize them so you could benefit from them. Now, this circle was started for the mere reason that we have a network now. And our network is set up so that we can have private sessions, we can have special talks, we can invite people to speak. It becomes like another Facebook, but the network focuses in on your groups of friends where they can go into small sessions and meeting sessions and group sessions and talk about what's on their mind. They don't have to always go with the pictures that are being shown. I found that all I was doing was looking at pictures on Facebook of uploads. And I never really went to the groups, and I never was a part of the small circles, and I couldn't see the benefit of it. But when you start off with a circle and you are primarily working with people that have various different interests, you might suggest the different topics for the group houses, and then they see them and they say, oh, I like that. Maybe I'll add one more to it. And that way you get people excruciating and conversating on things that they have interest in, not just on the things that are available like on Facebook. And this particular network will allow you to have concerts, will allow you to even have shows and do. It's like a mighty network, and it allows you to have a room where you have access to a whiteboard and you can present movies and download movies. So you can teach on this site. You can also run an actual room for teaching and giving people the opportunity to come in and facilitate as well. Now, I'm not going to be before you too much longer, but I wanted to come on here to let you know that we're still popping, we're still rolling, and we're still in the circle. And we're talking about wealth. How do you get wealth? And do you get 4 or 5 jobs in order to get wealth? Or do you realize that having streams of income may mean that you are in several multi-level marketing businesses and you're paying your fees so that you can access someone utilizing your product and purchasing it, and then you making a sale off of it. But as I said, it's a little hard when, let me say something over here and see if anybody want to say anything. I'm still getting, let me see. It won't let me say anything. Let me see. Okay. Why is not saying anything? Hello? Okay, I'm just saying hello to the African family. I don't know if they're able to see me or not. This is a brand new platform for me on this YouTube, and I'm struggling with it. I'm just going to be honest. I'm struggling with it, trying to get a better understanding of how it's used. I haven't had anyone to come in and say anything. Let's see here. Do a little emoji. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to say that I wanted this circle so that people can talk more about economics and how do we get our money to circulate in our community more than one time. And I also wanted to be able to help people to decide on how to bring income in their houses. A lot of times people get off into a lot of crooked and devilish things, and they all talk about when it brings money in. Well, some money is not always welcome into the household. And you have to be very careful that you scrutinize and are doing things that are ethical and legal. But we get a little desperate, African Americans, and we start in on things knowing that they're illegal and don't realize that you don't want to constantly be looking over your shoulder and wondering if somebody is going to hit you over the head because you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. But I do want to say that there are a number of ways of earning additional income, especially if you're degreed and have some credential. You can write yourself up as a company and decide upon an entity for yourself and put your resume and portfolio together and then go out there and hit the pavement and start contracting yourself out to get work here and there. And that way you got a couple of jobs you're working on. You got a consistency of a record. And you can determine how long that lasts and how long that's going to go. And you can write that contract as your potential employer writes their contract, and they'll tell you you're not the employee, you're a contractor, so you don't work for the company, and you cannot go out dispersing that information because they'll say they don't know you, you don't work for them, you're just a mere contractor. And the question may come up, is it good to be a contractor or a W-2? Sometimes you have to weigh it. Uh, if they're paying much more dividends for your hourly wages to be a contractor, and if you're on your wife's policy or your significant other's policy, but it's soon to run out, then you have to be careful that you want to get a job that is a W-2 job, one that has benefits attached to it, so that you are always covered at all times. A lot of people say, oh, I don't have to be covered, but there's a penalty for not being covered. And when you're not covered, they hit you hard with those fees. So sometimes a company can be giving you benefits, and the benefits will outweigh that extra money that they used to give you as a contractor. But you can't see it because you're constantly saying, oh, I'm making less now. No, you're making more, because had you filed your taxes and did not have your uh, uh, benefit statement stating how much you're paying for your benefit, then you'll be hit with a fee. You have no benefits, and then at the same time, you're hit with a fee because you don't have them. So it's always better safe than sorry to get your affairs worked out and in order, and to make sure that that insurance is paid at all times so that you're not hit with a penalty. Now, I'm going to let you know that we are soliciting for you to come to the network, to the Oracle Network, Oracle Divination Network. And you can come in and see exactly what we're doing and how we're moving. We're slowly writing articles and trying to get things up and going. But as you know, it's all time consuming. But I'm going to get off these airways now, and I'm going to say Habari Gani to each of you, and thank you so much for joining the circle today. And we do trust that you'll be back with us again. O Dabo.